안녕하세요. 미저씨입니다. 여기 LA는 봄이 온 것 같습니다. 날은 밝은데 산에는 눈이 내려 알프스를 보는 것 같아 신기해서 여러분들에게도 보여드리려고 찍었습니다. 좀 희한한 풍경이죠. 저도 여기 맨날 지나가면서 보면서 좀 미국 같지 않은 풍경이다라는 생각이 듭니다. 자, 오늘은 제가 작년에 찍어 놓은 유니버셜 스튜디오를 이제야 보여드립니다. 캘리포니아에 사는 사람들은 179불로 1년 시즌 패스를 살 수 있거든요. 지금 온라인에서 사면 10불 디스카운트도 받고요. 그래서 시즌 패스를 작년에 샀었는데 마지막으로 갈 수 있는 날에 한번 찍어 왔습니다. 한번 보시죠. 자, 유니버셜 스튜디오에 도착했고요. 일반 파킹은 5시 이전에는 35불이고요. 그 다음에 5시 이후에는 10불입니다. 저는 많이 와봐가지고 5시 이후에 왔어요. 그래가지고 10불 내고 들어왔습니다. 그 다음에 prefer parking이라고 좀 가까운 데 내시고 싶으시면 55불. 그 다음에 5시 이후에 prefer parking은 20불입니다. 좀 앞에 파킹, 걷기 싫으시면은 한 55불 내시면은 조금 더 가까운 데 파킹하실 수 있습니다. 저희는 저라식 파킹에 파킹했어요. 이거 따라가시면 돼요. 이렇게 가시면 돼요. 저쪽으로 걸어가시면 됩니다. 이렇게 여기 사인 보시고 여기로. 여기서부터는 스큐리티 체크업이 있습니다. 가방과 소지품을 검사하는데요. 물 같은 거는 가지고 들어가도 괜찮습니다. 그러니까 혹시 물이 비싸니까 물은 가져가시는 게 필수인 것 같습니다. 혹시 무거운 가방이나 귀중품이 있으시면 여기 넣어둘 수 있는 락커가 있습니다. 조그만 락커는 10불이고요. 큰 락커는 15불입니다. Halloween Horror Nights. 쿵푸 판다를 지나면은 저기가 나와요.
Thank you, sweetheart. Love you, Luke. See you later, buddy. Love you. See you next time, pal. Hello.
혈설이 7불입니다. 7불. 혈설이 7불. 이 드링크가 19불. 여기부터 해리포터 나라예요. 해리포터. 이 기차 앞에서 사진 찍을 수 있어요. 여기 보이시죠?
기분이 안 좋아. 티셔츠가 37불. 굉장히 비싸죠?
Excuse me.
The big book of monsters.
Excuse me.
There's some in there already. I'm going to put it absolutely slowly. And then the on and off switch right here.
ATM도 있네. 현출. 여기가 대박입니다. 여기가. 네, 대박이에요. 와.
Oh, wait.
Sorry. 아, 대박입니다, 이거. 심슨 더 심슨
I was just trying to think of like
No, no.
I get it. Da pure, non sei riuscito a questi altri.
Oh, wait.
Steve Burger.
But it's more about the visual, right? This
더
one, the
심슨
everything's so bright and big. Yeah. If you write it, just close your eyes. There's no way, move! There's 10 more minutes!
Something for me? Is it A, B? Here, yes, let me know. And for the lady, a long island iced tea.
No way. No way. No way.
Has been so warmly embraced by tens of billions of people. To Kill a Mockingbird, winner of the Pulitzer Prize, just about every other award a book can win. And now, happily, To Kill a Mockingbird becomes a motion picture, and its memorable characters come vividly alive.
Really
Where'd you get 3D glasses?
Everyone coming out of the queue line, make sure you have your 3D glasses all the way up. Keep heading all the way down to your right to car number 3 or car number 4.
You have a pair of 3D glasses. You'll need them twice on the tour. Once for Fast and Furious Supercharged and King Kong 360 3D. Now that voice coming from above, it's not AI, it's not a robot. It's me. Hi, I'm Anthony. I'm going to be your tour guide today. We're going to lift the veil of secrecy on some of Hollywood's hottest filming locations. And together we're going to explore over 400 acres of movie-making history, over 100 years of movie-making magic. Out of the theme park, let's head out into the heart of Hollywood and see one of the busiest studios here in Southern California. Now, before we get started, we have a few safety rules to go over. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or drop something of value off the side of the tram, or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, so if at any point during the tour you do drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull that cord and remain seated. Please no smoking of any kind on the studio tour. That includes the use of e-cigarettes, and be prepared. Our tour today does feature loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they do not get wet. Finally, for your safety and the safety of those around you, no selfie sticks while on board the tram. Let's do this. And we mentioned a little earlier, 2024 is the 60th anniversary of the world famous studio tour. So here to help us celebrate, I do have a co-host who's the master of ceremonies and the host of the Tonight Show, Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world's famous studio tour. I know what you're thinking. Why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
That's right, Jimmy. And it all began for the studio tour on March 15th, 1915. That's when our founder, Carl Laemmle, invited the public to the studio to watch silent movies being made. Guests could walk from set to set and marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking. But with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on set, the original walking tour ended. But in the 1960s, the idea of reviving the tour returned when the Gray Line bus tours originating in Hollywood made their stop at our gates. And on July 15, 1964, the first of our red and white candy-striped glamour trams took 67 passengers around a 2-hour driving tour of the Universal lot, and the world-famous studio tour was born. Now, coming up on the right-hand side, you are getting a glimpse at our fire station. We also have our own sheriff's department, medical personnel, and we've also got a zip code because Universal City is in fact a real city, but a city that's entirely dedicated to making movies. We have no actual residents here at the studio. And also on the right, you'll see some movie posters of over 8,000 things that have come here throughout the years. We're talking commercials, TV shows, competition shows, movies, you name it, we could do it here at the studio. And while there is a lot of history, we actually might encounter some active filming today. And if we do, I will put this graphic on the screen. At that time, I'll come off the microphone, but feel free to talk amongst yourselves and have your cameras out, because you never know what you may see here at the studio tour. And as for the studio itself, it's broken up into 2 parts, the front lot and the back lot. And we're gonna go to the front lot first. The front lot houses the majority of Universal's 36 sound stages. So you can think of a soundstage as a completely controllable environment that we use for filming. They do about 80 to 90% of the filming process inside of the soundstage. On the left, here's soundstage 12. This is where the singing competition The Voice filmed their first few seasons. There's some of our newer sound stages we'll see later on in the tour. This is also where Taylor Swift filmed her music video for her song Me with Brandon Urie, and it was also home to movies like Frankenstein, Dracula, and Back to the Future. All of these scenes on your screens were filmed inside a soundstage 12.
저런 영화들 다 여기서 찍었다고 합니다.
The sound stages coming up on the left-hand side have once been home to classic hits like Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, and some newer shows like Hacks with an Emmy Award winner Gene Smart, Grand Crew with Nicole Byer, and the Peacock series Bel-Air, the dramatic retelling of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air starring Jabari Banks and Ali Shulatin.
We're leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment for scripted movies.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination could take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel-Air.
When we film Bel-Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
Or what?
you'll see on the studio tour.
Classic sitcoms call our sound stages home throughout the years. Shows like Martin, The Jeffersons, Coach, One Day at a Time, Never Have I Ever, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Desperate Housewives, just to name a few of them. And more recently, we've had the TED series on Peacock, executive produced and directed by Seth MacFarlane, which just got greenlit for a second season. They've been filming that all over our back lot. We've got a preview to show you. Check it out.
Hi everyone, Seth MacFarlane here, and I'm excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes look at my Peacock original event series, TED. It's a prequel series set in 1993. That means our skilled craftspeople had to build a high school, a house, and even recreate downtown Boston as it looked back in the day, using exterior sets and facades that you're about to see on the tour. But I should warn you, TED is intended for mature audiences only. So grown-ups, tell the kids to go in the other room before you watch. Oh, come on!
And coming up on the left-hand side, there's Ted. He's toasting us. He's happy that he's getting another season. But right behind Ted, you'll see all these beige buildings. These buildings are actually what we call bungalows. These bungalows used to be personal dressing rooms to contracted stars. That's any star who signs on to make movies exclusively with our studio. It's a little bit of a dated practice. We don't do that anymore. But some of those stars would be Doris Day and Rock Hudson. But these are now production offices to some of the biggest companies here in Hollywood, like Amy Pascal's Pascal Pictures. She brought us Spider-Man, No Way Home. You've also got Mark Platt Productions in these bungalows. Coming up on the left, if you look all the way in the back, you can see their office. You'll see the Wicked logo right next to their door. Well, they're in the process of releasing the two-part movie musical for Wicked, which is set to star Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Jeff Goldblum. The first movie is coming out next month, November 22nd. Get ready for that. Coming to you in two parts, the following movie in 2025 in November.
현대 아이오닉, 현대 아이오닉.
Now we're getting ready to move away from the front lot, which houses our sound stages and production offices, and we're going to spend the rest of the tour on the back lot, which houses the majority of our major exterior cityscapes. But before we visit the concrete jungle, we're going for a detour through the real jungle.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your life and sweep you up in an inch.
King Kong 들어가면 King Kong.
You're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from prehistoric times.
Alright everybody, at this time, make sure you... This attraction was brought to you on screens that are 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide. Those visual effects were made by Peter Jackson over at Wedded Digital. At Wedded Digital, they've also worked on movies like King Kong, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Avatar, Hunger Games, Wonder Woman, The Avengers, Disney's The Little Mermaid with Halle Bailey, so you've certainly seen their work before. And what you experienced, the amount of visual information, is 15 minutes of a feature film wrapped up into a 2-minute attraction made with the studio tour. And as we move away from Skull Island, King Kong, and the jungle, we're going to take a look at our version of the concrete jungle. Or should I say the not-so-concrete jungle, because it's made out of plywood, plastic, fiberglass, and material we can swap out interchangeably, so we can change up the aesthetic of our metro sets. These could be any major metropolitan city in the world. You've seen these as New York in Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, as well as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. It's been Chicago and the Blues Brothers, Baltimore.
Spider-Man 여기서 찍었대요, 여기서.
It's also been Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films. It was downtown LA in the Transformers when Shia LaBeouf ran down the street with the Allspark and all those buildings exploded behind him. They filmed that right here. They also used these
여기
sets
빌딩들 다
to
가짜야,
film
가짜.
many music videos throughout the years. Pop stars like Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Tate McRae most recently, Michael Jackson, and even things like the streetlights and the mailboxes, we swap those out interchangeably. They indicate time period, they indicate different places in the world, so our metro sets offer a lot of flexibility. We've also used them as London for Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, and Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and many more titles. Coming up on the right-hand side, you're seeing our monster mural. This was made to celebrate all of the classic Universal monster movies like Frankenstein, Dracula, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man, all those classic stories. But this mural right here was actually made by street artist Tristan Eaton, and he made it entirely out of cans of spray paint.
And an instrumental part of the process of designing these murals was getting to go to the Universal Archive. Going there, I got to see in person props from the movies, photos from behind the scenes, original illustrations from those movie posters, all this stuff. I had an early affection for movie monsters. I was always fascinated by the magic behind making movies, but I fell in love with zombie movies and monster movies as a young kid. My world that I come from is skateboarding and graffiti and comic books. You always have to pay homage to where that art form started. And for me, it started just painting stuff in the street illegally, tagging billboards and dumpsters. Without that, I never would be here using spray paint like this.
And if you take a look to the left-hand side, a few more of our sound stages. These ones were once home to American Song Contest with Kelly Clarkson and Snoop Dogg, and currently the home to the singing competition The Voice, which also stars Snoop Dogg.
Hey, studio tour. It's your boy Snoop Dogg. Did you know that the Universal Backlot is home of The Voice? That's right. We tape right here on Stage 31. Don't miss our incredible new season every Monday and Tuesday on NBC.
These sets were created for All Quiet on the Western Front, the first movie Universal ever won an Academy Award for Best Picture with. But we really filmed all of our monster movies here. This was used for Frankenstein, Dracula, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Wolfman, The Invisible Man, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Phantom of the Opera, all of them filmed right here. You might also recognize these sets as Port Royale from Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. You may even also recognize it as Genovia from The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement. If not any of those, you could also recognize it from all 4 seasons of The Good Place starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. You're in the afterlife.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
저 TV 시리즈 찍은 데입니다, 여기가.
I can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
These sets were also used as Peru and Jarhead with Jake Gyllenhaal. They used them for Scorpion King with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal music video was filmed here, as well as Nicki Minaj's music video for her song Turn Me On with David Guetta. It was Paris and the Muppets, Italy for Angels and Demons, but you really remember our European sets from all of our Universal monster movies.
When we think of Universal, we think of the monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein,
Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man,
Phantom of the Opera. Classic films are just brilliantly made.
that Frankenstein image, flathead, it's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror.
And I was just mesmerized by it.
Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me. They still ring in our memories now. We love them.
At this time, everybody, we're approximately at the halfway mark of the tour. We will be returning to the theme park shortly, so if you have an emergency, reach out, grab the red E-cord, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Now, we talked a lot about tips, tricks, behind-the-scenes knowledge, some of our exterior cityscapes, and we also talked briefly about sound stages. A sound stage is a completely controllable environment that we use for filming. So we're going inside of Sound Stage 50. This is an example of what we call a hot set. A hot set means it's all dressed and ready to go for production. The only thing we're missing is our Hollywood star, which is gonna be all of you today. Congratulations, you're about to live your Kardashian fantasy. I'm very excited for you. Let's turn you into Hollywood stars. Ready? Lights, camera, and action.
years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
Moving away from Amity Island, we are now here in Old Mexico, which you've seen in Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Trek Picard. We've also seen it in Janet Jackson's music video for her song Escapade and the Three Amigos. But it's also home to a weather simulation. Here to tell you about it, we have the Today Show's co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Our flash flood is created using practical effects, strobe lights, speakers, a sprinkler system, and of course a whole lot of water. You've seen the flash flood in Lady Gaga's music video for her song Venus, and you've also seen it in big.
이제 밤이 되고 해가 져서 너무 카메라에 안 담겨져서 나머지 찍은 거는 건질 수가 없었습니다. 기회가 되면 한번 방문하시는 것도 좋을 것 같습니다. 그럼 다음에 뵐게요. 안녕.